Now, this is not a game that you are looking forward to. It's not a game I'm looking forward to. We probably just want to move on and similar to the FA Cup, because all we really care about is the FA Cup and the Europa League. But anyways, this game is in the way, so let's cover that while we can. First of all, let me say this. This game against Ipswich is a big mismatch. Why? Because you look at the way that Ipswich play. They play with high intensity. They play with what Amarim was supposed to bring in. Even as bad as their finishing is, even as bad as their build-up play might be, you can see the idea. And when their idea executes, they can do the kind of things that they did at White Hart Lane or Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, whatever you call it. And the thing is, we're not safe from just getting a draw or avoiding losses. Because if this Ipswich team is on point, they can do something like they did in the return fixture, but only this time they could win. And I'm sure nobody here is ruling out the fact that Ipswich could beat us at our own patch. That's scary enough already. But I guess the positive is, if we can win this, we're 16 points clear of relegation, and then we can relax a bit. I mean, I can't believe the fact I just said that. United against Ipswich is a relegation battle match. But look at the season, that's where we are. And the one thing I can say is that if we score one goal, if we score two goals, we're lucky enough, because I don't see goals coming, guys. I know he scored in the last game, but let's be really honest here. Bruno Fernandes scored an amazing free kick. Ugarte scored a volley he'd never score in his life again, even if he tried 100 times. So those are two one-offs that got us 2 goals. Now, you could argue Everton should have made it 3-0 at some point, but they couldn't do that. And then because of that, we got back in the game. And you never know, we could have even stolen it. But to get consistent goals, what do we need? We need a manager who can actually manage tactics in-game, who can actually say, you know what, guys? You know what we've been doing for the last few weeks? Nah, ban that. Let's do something totally different. Let us start implementing new tactics. But this manager is just so stubborn. Guys, I thought Ten Hag was stubborn. This guy takes stubbornness to the next level. He knows Rasmus Højlund is not good, yet he persists with Rasmus Højlund. He knows Dalot is ineffective on the right. He still plays Dalot on the right. Even in games where Bruno has been bad, Bruno has not been dropped. There were games in between where you could have given him a rest for Eriksen and played Eriksen in the 10. But guess what? This manager just didn't want to do that. Once he's made his mind up on somebody, he is not open to changing his mind, which is a big red flag. Tell me if you agree or not. If somebody has an opinion about something, but then there's new evidence to prove that their point was completely wrong, do you think they should change their opinion or no? That's all up to you guys. But specifically in this game, I don't see us winning this game. Why? Because, like I said before, it's a complete mismatch. So what Ipswich like to do is basically high press you and play with their wingers, crosses into the box. Into who though? Into Liam Delap. Now that's actually a proper striker. If I was to name one striker that I want, it's Liam Delap. Why? Because he's just a traditional number 9. He has physicality, he has decent pace, and he can finish. And he gets into the positions to finish as well. So if we were to go for any striker, I would go for Liam Delap. And funnily, before we sign Liam Delap, we have to face him tomorrow. And that is one thing I'm really scared for, because I've seen this guy maneuver through so many tight positions and still get a shot away or a header away. And we know how weak our defense is. So a cross comes in and we're already struggling. Onana can't keep the ball out of the net, and neither can the defense. So really, we're stretching to see where we can get a win from. One thing I can tell you is that Ipswich are scoring. Now, what I can't tell you is, can they win or not? Because as bad as we are, Ipswich is almost as bad, because that's why they are in 17th. But having said all this, what do I think is going to happen? Well, I would say we draw 1-1. Because I don't see either team being good enough to win. We are struggling every game that we see. And This is probably one game I think we should win. And we should probably take the Arsenal game on seriously, because guess what, guys? We're not winning that regardless. I know Arsenal is going through a bad patch and all that, but we are not beating Arsenal. So drop all our players for the Arsenal game. Focus on the Fulham game and the Sociedad games. And this is the last game before that where we should win, because this is a relegation battle game. We cannot afford to drop points in this game. If we drop points in this game, then we're in big trouble. Speaking of strikers, apparently Osimhen wants to join United. Whatever that means. Because how many players have we already heard? We have already heard Quenda wants to join. Cunha really wants to join. Let's wait for the summer, right? And why are we planning like the summer is already here? Like the summer is already going to start in 2-3 weeks. You know, this is still just February. Yeah, it might be the end of February. But still means March is left, April's left, May is left. And then if you reach cup finals, then June is there as well. So that's a good 3.5 months left to play. And we're already talking about the summer. Especially when we're in a relegation battle and we are still in 2 cups. All I want you guys to know is all these stories that they're feeding you, whether that was Quenda, whether that was Osimhen, Cunha, whoever it may be, it's all just PR talk. This is not real. Why do you think in February, Osimhen has already decided where he wants to go, when he knows that there are other clubs who are going to pay his release clause as well? And anyway, even if we were buying Osimhen, I wouldn't think that Osimhen is the perfect player for us. Does he have pace? Yes. Does he finish? It's a 50-50. He's probably a volume finisher if anything. But you know what gets me? Guys, you know when you see somebody and you see that first touch, how they keep the ball with them, that tells you a lot about the player. And Osimhen is one player I've seen. I could never like Osimhen from the start because he has this wonky touch. You know when he gets the ball goes nearly like 1-2 feet away from him. He can't keep the ball right within his reach. And that works in the Serie A. That probably works in Galatasaray. But does that work in the Premier League? We know so many players who do have that magnetic touch and they still struggle because the ball isn't probably close enough or they can't move agile enough. Osimhen, on the other hand, his first touch is just off. He relies on service and I'll score. The problem is we don't have proper service here either. You talk about Bruno. One game, he's amazing. One game, he's subpar. And then we have so many other players who are the same as well. Kobe, you could say this season has been the same way, where one game is amazing, one game is subpar. But what do you do really? The team that you're given is not so good. Now you have a goal scorer and service isn't coming. Now what? So we're stuck in the same dilemma unless, guys, the more important position than a striker. People say if we get a goal scorer, all our problems are solved. Who's going to service these guys? Because for one thing, we know Bruno's not that guy. We know Ahmad could be the guy, but well, now he's injured. And when he comes back, he'll still need another outlet on the other side. Dorgu, he's good, but he's very, very raw. So we can't expect Dorgu to do much. He's the kind of player who will need some time to settle in. Fernandes, like I said, on and off player. Casemiro probably not going to be here next season. Ugarte, we know, is the furthest thing from a creator. And yeah, who else are you left with? If we get Edison, maybe there's a chance. But we still need a left 10, guys. That's my point. We need a left 10. Then maybe you add Osimhen. Well, considering the level of the Premier League, maybe we could just get away with it. But yeah, I'm not a fan of Osimhen. Get me Liam Delap any day. And yeah, that's it. So see you guys after the game tomorrow. And see y'all.